Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach,
where we're all about keeping it real in the world of fitness.
I'm Sarah, your go-to fitness professional, cutting through the BS to bring you the truth.
And I'm Caleigh, your fitness newbie, here to ask the questions you're too afraid to ask.
From crunches to kale, we've got the inside scoop on what works and what doesn't,
because fitness should be fun.
So Caleigh, what do you like to listen to when you work out?
I don't know, sometimes a podcast and sometimes music.
Hey, wait, this is a podcast. What if you could have both?
At the same time?
Oh, yeah. Podbeat is a free mobile app that lets you add any beat style to any podcast for your workout. It's easy to do and free to download in the App Store. Caleigh, you sound pretty cool with the trap beat, but Sarah, the funk beat works for your voice.
So if you want to make our podcast work for a workout, check it out in the App Store.
They even have Podbeat for Android users in the Google Play Store. Okay, on to the show.
So Caleigh.
What?
We haven't talked about cardio a lot lately. I feel like we did at the beginning because that's kind of where your journey started. And then it's just been a while. It's kind of taken the back burner.
Yeah, no, I feel like cardio needs to be talked about more.
You love cardio.
I feel like I'm not supposed to. I feel like it's like this dirty little secret now, and like the fit, because I'm in the fitness world now. Like
right. Yeah.
It's kind of like this dirty little secret I've got, but
nobody's supposed to love cardio. Everyone just hates on it, right?
I don't agree with that.
I know you do like it.
There are people that like it. There are runners out there.
There are a lot of runners out there actually that like it.
Yeah, and and I've kind of secretly, I've kind of kept it from you, but I've kind of like secretly immersed myself in that world.
In the running world? What?
In the running world. I don't know if you know this, but it actually on the streets. Do you know what they call me now?
No.
Out on the streets. My street name?
What's your street name?
5K Lee.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's never end. It was quite at Caleigh to start, and then it was, I don't know.
A lot of things.
There was
I'm a woman of many talents.
No, it's 5K Lee. You're a 5K master.
Yeah, because I ran one.
You ran more than one. You realized. I had ran one others.
Here's what's funny is because looking back on like when we very first started talking about like, have you run a 5K or not? And it was very unclear. I was unclear. You were unclear. We weren't sure.
I was perfectly clear of how many races I've done. You swore that
we were
never
unclear about what I had done. That was because at the time
I wasn't unclear because I'm not you. And you were unclear.
But look, my turn. So I didn't know if I didn't have an understanding, and I didn't even know how to like express this. So like, is a 5K an event or is it a distance?
I think that's supposed to be a serious question. But
well, now I know.
I can't take that seriously.
But I didn't know that back then. You're like, have you run a 5K? And I'm like,
I had done that
I
race.
have participated
the inflatable
in an event called a 5K. What are you asking me?
But you're like, I've never done a 5K ever. That's
because I hadn't run a total distance of 5 kilometers
so
without
many
stopping.
People don't.
That's why I thought I'd never run a 5K.
There's a lot of people in a 5K race that never run.
I didn't know that. I thought you couldn't say you ran a 5K
if you didn't actually physically run it.
If you didn't run from start to finish and not stop like a little bitch.
Oh.
I didn't know. Now I know. I think. Well, either way.
So many angry listeners that do 5Ks that never run them.
Either way, though, now I have because we participated in an event.
Yes.
Where we
ran from start to finish. No, we did not stop.
So,
and we had a decent pace.
Either way, my bases are covered now.
True. That's very true.
I think we did that in like 36 minutes.
I mean, that to me is that's perfect
fine. I
pace.
Fine at night.
For me to feel comfortable running.
Yeah.
I'm sure my heart rate was
the
up.
whole time.
Yep. And I mean, could we have ran faster? But I just learned the longer I try to run without stopping, if I am much faster than a 12-minute mile pace, I hate my life. I can't breathe. I start to like hurt, and I want to enjoy the exercise and the moving. I'm not training to run, and win a race because I'm not built that way. Like I just want to go out and enjoy it. And
I think for a 5K, for like an amateur or hobbyist, I think
a 12-minute mile is great.
Like, yeah. And if you can go at a slow pace or you can go faster at that distance. Yeah. You can finish a 5K.
For me to even push it closer to a 10-minute mile, though, I would kind of hate it. And I don't want to hate it. I enjoy doing it because to me it's fun.
You couldn't just hate it for a little bit just so you could say I did
I wouldn't care that much about it. I prefer to go slow enough that I get into like a groove where I start like zoning out a little bit. Because to me, that's more of it. Instead of like hating how much I'm hurting or how hard it is for me to breathe, if I slow down enough and just kind of get through that first half mile and just kind of coast, then to me it's,
that's what I've been doing.
Along with your thoughts or music or whatever, and you just kind of go.
You and I are gearing up to run the half marathon relay.
Well, we will have run it
by the time this
episode comes out. So
you have been doing nothing.
I've done absolutely nothing, and I am a fair weather road race runner. Yeah, for sure.
Person in general.
Fair, yes,
that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I've been training, I guess, on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So I haven't been running outside.
Yeah, which is different.
But because the most I had ever run up to this point a few weeks ago was 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
I hadn't run more than that. So I'm like, well, if we're going to run, if I need, because this is 10 kilometers?
It is, no, it's 13.1 miles.
Well, but for me, it's a relay.
Yeah, it'd be 10 kilometers for the one. Yeah, a little over.
So I'm like, I need to run double what I ever have before.
Yes, true. Yep.
So I've gotten
because it's a relay, so you run half of the half marathon.
Right.
I run the other half.
Right. So I've gotten up to 4.5 miles on my treadmill. I'm running at a 4 miles per hour,
which is a 15-minute mile.
I told Jeremy that, and he's like,
"You're faster to walk."
He's like, "Are you walking?"
Yeah, that's pretty much the pace in which you would walk.
It's so enjoyable.
4.0.
You can on the treadmill if you're running, because you have to do something different with your legs to like. You can run, then you don't have to slow it down, but you can like
stop and
slow
walk
your legs down.
You can walk and run at the 4.0.
Yeah, you can do either.
I could walk a 4.2 and be comfortable.
Yeah, that's probably
pushing
about the max.
I don't know that
I'll crank it up to like 4.5. But before that, I was running it between 5 and 6 miles per hour, which is too much.
That's pretty fast.
I was hating running on the treadmill. So now I can run for a whole hour.
Run, walk, race walk.
Jog.
Okay.
There we go.
Jog.
We just invented that word.
There we go. We're going to use that word now. We're not running. We're joggers. I've said too, I'm a race walker. Like I'll go do races, but I like to just fast walk them.
Isn't like wogging a thing? Like see the old ladies, the mall.
Oh,
like,
is that what that's
called? They're not like, their legs aren't like,
they're just running, wogging. They're just like their upper body's a little bit more running-ish, but then they're just using their legs to walk it.
Wogging. But I don't know. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm kind of enjoying it. I do because I do strength training on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes Saturday.
You're jogging. Jog is good. That's a good word.
Moving my body at a 4.0 mile per hour pace.
What's your
treadmill? I don't know. I don't know what we want to call it. But
good jog.
I'm not trying. I did do like a sprinting. I had a sprinting era.
Oh, yeah.
Last summer.
Okay.
Remember I was trying to run a mile.
Yeah.
I got under 9 minutes.
Right. Which is a decent mile pace.
I had to finish before Taylor Swift's All Too Well 10-minute version. Got over.
I had to learn that was actually a thing.
That was fun. That was
that's a good challenge.
I look back on that, and I might do that again this summer just for funsies. Because
why not?
Whatever.
I am looking forward to some good track workouts this summer.
That was fun. I'm excited.
We'll have to. Ryan Reed says do the sprints. That one video you shared with me. He's like, even if it's just like a 5-second sprint.
Yep.
If you want to change your body composition, full on sprinting, even if it's for 5 seconds, and which is probably about a 50-meter sprint, give or take. I mean,
yeah, we're going to get wild
40
this summer,
40
which
to
is
50 minutes.
funny because when this episode comes out, it's going to be like fall.
It will be fall.
We will have already done this. We are currently in the past, present, and future.
All at the same time, baby. That's what happens when you choose a podcast topic genre that's really kind of evergreen content. I mean, this stuff really never goes that old because things just keep cycling through. Yeah. And we keep just going over the same stuff all over and over again.
We do. Now we are talking about running and
back again, running. But we like it.
Remember I texted you a while back and I said I really hadn't run for a while.
Right, yeah.
And I said, so I decided to hop on the treadmill and I was like, oh, I'll just stay within like a level, was it like level 2, zone 2?
Oh yeah, the heart rate. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I was like, I'll just stay in a nice, simple zone. Sure. Zone 2.
And it was spiking up to like 150s or whatever.
I spent like 51% of it in max heart rate zone at 4.5 miles per hour.
I mean, I probably would too with a 4.52. Also,
it might have been less than that.
I mean,
listen, I'm not a good runner. I don't consider myself good at running.
You're a jogger.
Last 4th of July, because I had been, was in my running era.
Yeah.
And we host our family 4th of July. And so we have, land.
Big annual thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so everybody was like, me and my sister, because she's big into strength training.
Sure.
And so everybody was like, you two should race. And I was like, bet. So everybody was like, oh, Caleigh's going to win this because
she's been running.
And I'm like, no, make no mistake.
It's not really
ladies
running.
And gentlemen. I'm not running fast.
No.
I think she beat me the first time.
But then did your endurance kick in and did you eventually beat her? No, she beat you every time.
I think there were 2 races and I think she won 1 and I won 1.
Yeah.
And then there was one that my nephew also participated in and he fell.
Mm-hmm. And then was there crying involved?
No, he was fine. He was a teenager.
Oh, he's fine.
No, it was on grass.
Cry. Oh, you were on the grass. Yeah. I mean, if my kids challenge me, I don't let them win.
You don't?
No way.
No, you gotta
learn competition.
You gotta beat them down.
If you think for 1 second I'm gonna slack off to let you beat me,
what are you gonna do when they do legit beat you?
I'll be proud of them because I know that I didn't just let them beat me. But I'm also not I'm not built to be a runner, like especially a distance runner.
See, I don't think I am either. I mean, I'm not.
But I will say it was, growing up, high school, in order to play varsity volleyball, you had to run an 8-minute mile.
Yeah.
That was one of the qualifications.
Yeah.
Honestly, what running an 8-minute mile has anything to do with volleyball is beyond me. I mean, this was also in the 90s, so things are different. But then I got to college, and my college volleyball coach was like, we run here the 2 miles under 18 minutes.
Ew.
And until everyone runs it under those 18 minutes, we run it every single day as a team until every last one of you finishes under 18 minutes.
I would have dropped out of college.
It was horrible. And we ran it inside. And at the time, my college, at the university, they only had, our indoor track was not even a full 200-meter track. Like most schools have a 200-meter indoor track.
Yeah.
190. We had to do then like 18 laps inside, 17 laps inside to get to 2 miles.
Ew.
Right? Because if it's 200, it's 400. So there's, instead of 4, it's 8. Yeah.
Carry the
like
one.
17 laps.
I don't like that.
Around a basketball court.
See,
and so there was one girl, she was a junior. She was the reason that they had to run it like multiple days, the year before.
Yeah.
And so everyone was really cheering her on. Well, this was my first year on the team. And so I was like, I just got to stay ahead of her. Because if I know that she's been the slowest one, I know for a fact we had 1 more lap left. But I also had enough time under 18 minutes because she was behind me or like coming up behind me or right in front of me. I don't remember what it was, but we were really close together. I knew we had 1 more lap and we had plenty of time and it was going to be fine. All of a sudden she quits. And I was like, well, she was behind me. Okay, I guess maybe I lost count, but I think she actually lost count and quit early. But it doesn't matter because we only had to run it then that one day. It was great. But then what does running 2 miles have anything to do with volleyball?
I don't know.
Really nothing.
I don't want anybody to tell me how fast to run.
No, because it's
distance to run.
Yeah.
Where to run, when to run.
You want to do it on your own.
It's always been on my own terms.
Yeah, it's not fun when you have
that.
But I do think if you, at least based on my experience, if you've been told to run a certain pace and hated running, you could try it again and try to change your pace and see if it changes how you feel about it, because it can make a really big difference.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And how much you enjoy it. Just guess, for me, it was slowing it down. I could go much longer and farther.
Do you think that, because I have heard a few times, and even with like strength training or like some of the different Instagram accounts we followed and stuff, some of them do say like, get your cardio every day. Now, that doesn't mean you need to run necessarily.
And what is their definition of cardio?
I guess
is it getting to a certain heart rate, or is it, you know what I mean? Like usually I feel like that's what it's tied to, is getting your heart rate up to a certain level.
Yeah, I think that's all it is.
I mean, I don't know what it would classify as other than that.
But I do think just for general heart health, cardiovascular.
Every day,
work it out.
I feel like I've seen like 3 days a week or 5 days a week, maybe sometimes.
I've seen some people say every day. I don't do it every day. What I do, you were waiting for it.
I was like, go for it.
What I do is, even on my strength training days, before I do the strength training, my workout, I get on the treadmill and walk. I get 4,000 steps every day before 7 a.m.
And then what happens after 7 a.m.?
Whatever happens, happens.
I don't even try anymore. Sometimes it's 4,500, and I'm fine with that.
Sometimes that's my... But you know how much that helps with, like, I know where this isn't a steps episode, but how much that helps to like hit my goal, because my goal is 7,000 to 10,000 every day. If I just get that base 4,000, right out of the way, done, I'm almost guaranteed
you'll get there.
I'll hit 7,000 steps.
Well, you know, the years I was personal training with one-on-one in the gym, you know, their clients would come in, and that was one of the things we would talk about, is just your general activity throughout the day and your step counts. And like, you know, of course people have different opinions on what level you should try to hit, you know, but 10,000 is also a mark that's out there pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. And it seems like if you have a desk job or you're not very active, you're pretty sedentary throughout the day, you'll hit like 3,000, 3,200. And I'm like, really the only way then you can get that extra activity in is pretty much to go out and walk like 3 miles.
It has to be intentional.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with a desk job.
If you have and then it's like go out for a 45-minute walk, a brisk walk. But that's really about the only way that you can get those steps in. I mean, of course you could run it too if you wanted to change the pace, but that general activity it's needed.
Yeah, that's been like my baseline every day.
Yeah, so then you're kind of jump starting it at the beginning of the day.
Not today. Well, no, I did.
Oh, yeah. Today. Where are you at today? I don't even remember what I did today. We were at soccer this morning. Kind of hung out a little bit. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's move on.
Mine's actually really low today, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to preface this by saying I did get my intentional 4,000 steps this morning.
Okay, well, I did not get any intentional steps in this morning.
That says a lot.
Okay. Mine's super low. This is kind of embarrassing for me. 6,929. Did you beat me?
6,252. I
think that's the closest we've ever been. But you also intentionally did for that.
Intentional. I walked on the treadmill for 35 minutes.
Oh, yeah. If I go out now and walk 35 minutes, I'd be probably at, 10,000, 12.
Yeah, but I didn't leave my house all day. You did. You
12,000
around.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, obviously not as much as I.
What time did you wake up today?
I was a little bit later. It was like, I think 9.
See, I was up at 5.
Yeah. So you definitely should have gotten more than 2. Oh, it was my one day I got to sleep in. And so it was okay. I was going to enjoy that.
That's one thing with my sleep. I've like screwed up the prospects of like sleeping in.
Because you're used to getting.
Oh, my eyes shoot open at 5 no matter what.
That's not a bad thing. I actually prefer that because I feel super productive in the mornings when everything else is kind of quiet.
I know. It's great on the weekdays, especially those mornings where you like wake up like 5 minutes before your alarm goes off at 5. You're like, yeah, I'm winning. But then on the weekends when you really want to sleep in.
Yeah, just have a little extra relax time.
Sleep.
Yeah.
But I also had a child this morning
those children.
I could have slept in.
Oh, I have people that will say, you'll miss these days. And like, there's things about these days that I can guarantee that I will not miss. And getting woke up way too early is definitely not one of the things I will miss.
I agree.
Sure.
There's nothing.
Diapers, won't miss that.
Yeah, we're out of that. And I can tell you.
Is it glorious?
You don't miss it.
No. I mean, now what I also am not super excited about is that period of time after you're potty trained, like road trips.
Yeah.
Because I'm like constantly nervous that we're going to have like
moms don't realize,
car.
like first time moms, when they start potty training, they think if they just get their toddler potty trained that it's going to be
life is easier.
I'm like,
no.
Once you get them potty trained, now you have another 2 years of just a whole new hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're constantly like, I got to make sure I know where the nearest bathroom's at and how quickly can I get there, because they're literally going to give me no notice. And then you freaking have a mess that you get to deal with if you're not prepared. And so it's a new level of just anxiety that comes out of. By the time they go to kindergarten, hopefully most of the time you're set. But even then it's like, oh my goodness, it is next level. So that just really doesn't have a whole lot to do with cardio.
Not a lot to do with cardio,
I mean,
no, but that's...
I do feel like if cardio has not been your thing or you've tried it a certain way, it does have a lot of health benefits. You want to make sure your heart is healthy and strong, and the only way to keep it strong is to do cardiovascular activities.
Sure.
Now, running is only one of many options. You could do a variety of different things.
For cardiovascular health?
Sure.
What can you do?
I mean, you could use other types of equipment in the gym.
Oh, okay.
There's other machines that you can use that would get your heart rate up. You could do other activities. I mean, you could go out and you can ride a bike outside, right? I mean, you could, if you're by water and want to like kayak or row, I mean, there are other things that you can do that you can get outside and get your heart rate up high.
That's true.
It doesn't just have to be running.
I think running is one of those things, if you like to do it, then do it.
Yeah.
If you don't like to do it, guess what? It's okay if you don't do it.
And if it hurts you, you don't have to do it. Like if it's bothering your knees or your ankles, like there's other ways to get your heart rate up for the health benefits without.
I think that's general good life advice.
Yeah, if it hurts, don't do it.
If it hurts. Yeah.
There's really no needs. There is plenty of alternate exercises that can help you accomplish that same goal. You just have to be willing enough to try to find it. I feel like all too often people are like, oh, I tried that once. It hurt my knees and I quit. Well, figure out the way that you still can, whatever. And just do it.
Yeah.
Quit being a little bitch.
Nice.
Hey, yeah, see?
Got a subscriber.
I had to bust that one.
Do you ever tell yourself that, like just on your own?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
I do.
Because I don't.
You're never a little bitch. Mm-mm. So you don't have to tell yourself to stop being a little bitch.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. See, so we are different. Oh, well, I mean, I do. Races are actually a fun way, though, to get moving.
I think it's nice. And we've said this before, and we're just going to go ahead and say it again. I think it's fun to have something to get ready for.
Yeah.
And I think for you that you're not going to run necessarily unless you have something.
No.
So what's your plan with this half marathon relay? Are you just going to show up?
Yeah, probably.
What % of your 10 kilometers are you going to run?
I don't know.
You don't.
I mean, I ran the 5K without training and kept up with you just fine.
You trained a little bit.
True.
We were meeting at the track.
Yeah. A couple of mornings. I don't know. I probably should get it together a little bit and go. I could probably get up in the morning and actually like.
You're not going to.
No.
You want to meet at the gym? I can meet you at the gym.
I don't want to do it on a treadmill.
Do you want to meet?
I have done the longest I've ever done on a treadmill is 16 miles, which, by the way, a lot of treadmills stop at 100 minutes because there's not that extra like.
I think we've talked about this.
Yeah, and so just as an FYI, it will shut off mid-step if it can't.
16 miles?
Over.
We're not trying.
Well, no, I had to.
Who's trying to run 16 miles?
I didn't do 16 miles in 100 minutes. I had to restart it, I think, twice.
Why did you do that? Oh, for your marathon.
Yeah.
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
You ran a marathon. We would be remiss without mentioning on this episode.
You cannot forget that. I mean,
Sarah did. For those of you that don't know, do you want to tell them?
I mean, it was like 20 years ago at this point.
She did, in fact.
A full marathon.
Ran a full marathon.
And I'm one and done.
Not the 90s.
No, it was like 2004.
Like with a Walkman or something prehistoric like that?
Well, so I did have the Walkman, but then what I actually bought was an armband that was like an FM radio. Because it was before iPods were even really a thing. Like I didn't even have like the shuffle or the iPod.
Yeah.
Like it was a straight up FM armband.
You just ran.
That you just went out and ran it.
Here's my concern.
And it was also before cell phones. Like I don't remember that I ever carried a cell phone with me or a tracking device. And like you would go out on these you would go out on these paths, and I did have a group that I trained with. I didn't just go out by myself. So,
but you did run uphill both ways in a blizzard.
Of course. Yeah. Yes. And there was a lot of ice because it was in Kansas City. The winters are very icy, which is why I was on the treadmill for some of the longer runs, is because they would cancel the group runs. The paths were icy. And so I was like, well, I still have to get this in. My body's got to get used to going this amount of distance. So I did a lot of Saturday morning long runs on the treadmill.
I don't know. I've never made it more than 4.5 miles.
I did have a few actually I would come back home and do. And what I did is I would drive my car into the middle of an intersection, and I would do the 4 miles around a section, like out here in the country.
Oh, yeah.
I'd park my car in the middle, and I would do a 4 mile loop, and then I would stop and I would take a goo pack, and I had some water, and then I would do another section so that what I got to look at was different.
Yeah.
And then I did like a 16-mile run out here in the country at one point because I was home visiting.
Oh, man.
But I pit stopped my car in the middle and then just ran around the sections, each like a little clover.
That would take me all damn day.
Hours.
Yeah. Here's my problem. Matter of fact, is that the running that I've been doing, jogging, whatever you want to call it, on the treadmill has been obviously on the treadmill, but I've been watching either TikTok or Netflix. I don't know how I'm going to handle like actually running outside.
I have to listen to podcasts and just look.
And we're not even going to be together.
No. And I did learn that it's better in the country to get up earlier in the morning and get your running done because there's no wind.
Yeah.
After you get past like 10 o'clock in the morning, if it's going to be a windy day, like it's just no fun.
Yeah, I think maybe starting this next week, I'm going to have to start venturing outside.
Yeah. I've even thought about that just around town. I'm like, I probably really should. But we also live right by the track. So
why don't we just start meeting the track this week?
Fine. Okay. We'll just do it. That's fine.
All right.
Good times. Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll just do that then. That's a plan.
Okay.
So do your cardio, people. Yep. Or find a way that you can get your heart rate up for a longer-ish period of time. Get some cardiovascular benefits.
Not in a stressful way.
You know, it's like coming back to me. I think it's 150 minutes a week is the recommendation.
Of
cardiovascular exercise. Does that sound about right?
No, I think it's 150 hours.
Of just general activity?
Of activity. Of exercise.
That's not cardiovascular. Recommended time of cardio per 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity a week, or at least 75 minutes of vigorous activity.
Do you remember that time in like season 1 when I said the CDC recommends 150 hours?
Yeah. And you didn't even realize that you said it. And I'm just looking at you and I'm like,
you were like, hours or minutes? We have a clip of that somewhere.
I thought it was aerobic activity was 150. So there you go. See, I was right. Okay. Get moving, people.
I love cardio.
Get your heart rate up.
Get out there.
Sweat a little bit. Get moving. It's good for you. So until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.